Hello everyone. Today we will do the shorthand dictation practice of exercise 4, 5 and 6. The speed will be around 60 words per minute. You can take the dictation of these exercises individually or all together. It's up to you. But after taking the dictation, the immediate English translation is must. So get ready everyone for the shorthand dictation of exercise 4 first. Let's begin. Every revolution after a certain period tones down. After the French Revolution and the days of terror, the French people toned down and became a very conservative and respectable people. Surprisingly, the process has taken a longer time in the case of the Soviet Russia, but the process is there. Possibly the period has lengthened because of many factors, including the wars. I once asked a Russian leader who had said something rather nasty about the British people as to why he did so. He had previously told me that he wanted to be friends with America and with England. He had said, "You are friendly with both, help us to be that." I said that I cannot do much, but I will certainly help to the best of my ability. He repeated what he said. Some 2 weeks later, he was traveling about in India and he came back from Burma. In Burma, in answer to a British correspondent who had put some kind of a leading question to him, he had lost his temper and said something nasty about the British people. So I put it to him that you say that you want to be friendly with America and England and want me to help, and yet you say things which must infuriate every Englishman. Surely that is not the way to help that process which you desire. He said that, yes, do you realize that for 30 years or so, whatever the period, we have lived in Russia in a state of siege? Question mark. We have lived in a state of siege with our enemies surrounding us and trying to put an end to us, crush us. We have fought and survived, and we have developed ourselves. But this state of siege has conditioned us. We are suspicious of everybody, especially of these people who have participated in this siege, and If they do anything which we do not like, we retaliate immediately. The reaction is there without even thinking. So you see the result of past conditioning. It is very powerful factor in every nation. Yet you see one gets over it. Take the last war. How did people in America or in England or in many other countries feel about Hitler's Germany and about the Nazis? They felt very angry, no doubt. But today they are friends with the German people, and rightly so. You have got over that. How did you Americans feel about Japan during the war? You were very bitter, and yet you are relatively friendly today. It is extraordinary how these changes can take place and feel friendly towards each other. Stop. Get ready for the next dictation, exercise 5. Sir, I am grateful to you for the address which you gave us yesterday. It showed how hard the Prime Minister had bargained and tried to get good terms from the six of the European Economic Community. We are grateful to him for what he did. I must, however, confess that the ultimate picture which has emerged is hardly satisfactory. Each group of countries is somewhat differently affected. The prime ministers of Canada and New Zealand have stated their views on how the present proposals affect the more developed countries. President Ayub, whose country is faced with problems similar to ours, has stated his views. I largely agree with this general approach to the problem. I shall naturally deal with the problems facing developing countries like India. I should like to make some general remarks. You, Mr. Prime Minister, referred in your opening remarks to the world situation, the present conflict, the two world wars, and the need to prevent a collision between the two great powers. You also referred to Europe's concern with the East West conflict. We are all concerned with it. Every step which we now take must, therefore, be judged from this point of view, namely, whether it reduces tension between the East and the West and whether it decreases the threat of war. We fear that the effect of the present proposals and the UK's entry into the European community might be the reverse and might add to the tension between the East and the West. Some East European countries have claimed that the European Common Market will lead to an extension of the NATO alliance. That may not be wholly correct, but it may well result in the increase of tension between the East and the West. The chances of disarmament would grow less. That would be a terrible loss, for disarmament will lead to greater economic progress than the creation or extension of economic communities. These are considerations which should be borne in mind in the context of the wider world situation. Coming to the present proposals, I should like to remind you, Mr. Prime Minister and other Prime Ministers, that there is need for a new approach of promoting a more healthy relationship between the developed and developing countries. The UN has declared the present decade as the decade of economic development. Stop. Get ready for the next one. Exercise 6. Declarations have been made in GET that immediate steps would be taken to fix terminal dates to relax tariff and other barriers and expand exports of the developing countries. Even some members of the six, in their agreements with us in 1959, had agreed to practical measures for an increase in our exports, for example, of jute goods and cotton textiles to Germany. It was expected by us that as a result of a growing realization on their part that we could continue to import more and more from them only if we were able to export more and more, we would be able to work out trading arrangements to provide growing outlets for our products on the continent. This has been the general trend and approach. How far does this general approach fit in With the present proposals, I do not see them fitting in. The present proposals are vague and the approach so far made is not satisfactory. Comprehensive trade agreements are a good idea, but in the quest for what has been described as a balance of bargaining positions, the prospects of our being able to negotiate a really worthwhile agreement with the enlarged community seem to us to have been seriously prejudiced. The developing countries are struggling hard to raise the standard of living of their people and the levels of their production. It is impossible for us to import machinery and capital goods necessary for our development plans unless we can increase the level of our exports. We are grateful for the foreign aid, which is largely in the shape of loans and credits. These have to be paid back with interest. We can pay them back only through increasing our exports. There is no other way. We are in the middle of the third 5-year plan. The existence of trade links is important. We are thinking of our fourth and fifth 5-year plans in our perspective planning. We are naturally worried by the adverse effects of these proposals on our plans. The UK's entry into the EEC may well worsen the position not only in relation to our earnings of foreign exchange but in relation to unemployment and might have grave social consequences from the human point of view. All this does not fit in with an international approach or an approach of get as it is generally accepted. The accession of the United Kingdom to the EEC means some diminution of her sovereignty. We need not be afraid of that if it leads to a world order. Stop. That's it. Thank you.